It's Robin with RH Image. Tuesday night, it feels good to be back. I have been absent for a couple of weeks from my series, Style That Speaks, but it's fun because I'm back in action and I am going to grab Tammy. She's jumping on with me here in just a second. Let's just give me 1 second and I will. There she is. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for joining me tonight. So, Tammy Zelez, I love for people to introduce themselves because I always feel like you are going to tell your story better than I do, but this feels very natural to me because I've done so much work over the years with photographers, so I'm excited to have you with me tonight.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me. Can you hear me okay?
I
Okay.
can.
Okay. I was like
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
walking all around my house trying to find the perfect lighting, and I don't even think this is good, but
Actually,
oh well.
you look good. So and again, you're a photographer, so I know you're like, I can just grab this umbrella light or whatever and make the magic happen.
Yeah, and I'm not making much magic happen today, but it's casual and we're just hanging out, right?
That's right. That's right. It's really, I mean, okay, so you're coming to me from Arizona tonight,
Yes.
right? Okay, so are you 2 hours or 3 hours behind
We are
me?
3 hours, so it's 4 o'clock.
So I like to say that, because it's 7 o'clock my time, it's kind of like happy hour.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I can make this happy hour. 4 o'clock? Yeah.
it's a little pregame.
Yeah.
But so Tammy, I would love it if you would share what you do and how you got started.
Yes. Um, well, I have been professionally doing photography for probably 12, 13, 14 years now. Kind of lost track after 10. Um, but I basically I was the mom photographer. I had my first baby and I just wanted her to not miss a beat. So I took pictures of her every minute of every day and just developed a passion for photography. And just slowly started doing families and really just catapulted into the high school senior market. Um, I love that age. They love to be photographed. It's the um, but then I really started honing in on brand photography because although I loved and I still do love shooting my senior clients, I wanted to photograph women my own age and help them to feel beautiful as well. And so that's where my brand photography took off. And I am just very passionate about a person's personality, their soul, who they are deep inside, and that's what I like to pull through in all of my images. So that's pretty much in a
Well,
nutshell.
photographers are storytellers.
Yes.
And that's just it. You're capturing that image. And that's what I was saying earlier today. I jumped on to say to people, listen, this is a great opportunity because everybody has to share their story if they are an entrepreneur or they're in business, or like you said, even just when you started out, it was telling your family story.
Yeah.
So this has elevated because I too like to help women just to find that voice in their style, but that results in, okay, so you're going to have pictures, and that's the discomfort that I find many women struggle with in terms of, is it their brand? Do they feel comfortable? How do they represent that? And I think that's where the marriage happens between a stylist and a photographer. So I would love to hear from you about just what do you do in terms of when you're working with women to feel comfortable and how you pose them? How do you create that comfort level?
Um, I've been trying to think about this, the answer to this question all day today because it really, really is. I create a comfortable environment, as we're just two women. We're, and I am just wanting to know exactly who that person is, and it is not fun to be in front of a camera. I This is why I'm behind the camera. I don't like being in front of it. And so I know how scary that space can be. And so first and foremost, I just let all of my clients know, like, hey, like, it's okay. We are going to break the ice by just being real and being silly. And, if the shot doesn't look good, you're not going to see it anyways. So
Right.
let's just have fun and just let go. And so I do little, corny activities or whatever just to
No,
get,
I love it. I want to hear about it.
yeah. Well, I have this like personality um game. It's basically like expressions. So I have cue cards, and we will just sit there and we will just do all these different expressions, and they're silly. I mean, they could be like happy, sad, mad, okay, but then they could be like Marilyn Monroe or Vogue or Kung Fu Fighter, just very off the wall prompt.
To see what they kind of connect with,
Yeah,
like, and how well they're, because it's true, everybody has a different comfort level, and sometimes it could just be once I see it, they get their hair and makeup done, and they've had a few shots taken. They're like, okay, I'm kind of finding my flow, and I try to give people direction about their physicality, but you also, I'm sure you would agree with this, you can't over direct because then
right.
people think about it too much. So I love that you kind of take them through this exercise to break the ice, but also to see what they connect with.
Yeah. And because honestly, the way I feel about it is that it's, you have to, authentic, the word authentic has been just thrown around all of our industries very recently and forever, like throughout social media. And but it's so true. Like, being authentic and just being real is so important. And people tend to clam up in front of the camera. They don't want the double chin. They don't want the arms being too big. They're thinking about all the things that are wrong with them,
Yeah.
and I'm looking at what's right with them. And so keeping them just very comfortable and relaxed, and even the giant laughs, where they might feel like they have the most horrible look on their face, but it's genuine and it's authentic. And that's what all of our viewers want to see from us, right? Is real.
Right.
And that's what I in all of my photos.
Something that feels natural. And that's and
100%.
that's something, and it's when you, I'm sure, like, I have those aha moments sometimes when I see a client's face light up. So I would imagine when you see that connection and you feel like, okay, I'm getting to that authenticity of, I made them laugh, they're feeling more comfortable, that would, you know, make that feel genuine, and make them more comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of my biggest things that I say is that you you come in front of my camera as a client, but you leave as a friend. I
Oh,
mean, that
I like that.
I love to make, you know, the whole dynamic work is just, we're just girls hanging out, having fun, taking some cute pictures, but just the comfortability of it all. That is first and foremost for me. If you cannot relax and be comfortable in front of the camera, you're not going to produce good photos. Period.
Yeah, and that's what everybody worries about, and that's what they get too much in their head before they start,
Right.
about those expectations, and already come in with some negative connotations. So that's, like I said, I think it's a marriage of creativity and the wardrobe, but also your presence to reassure them. Do you find that there's certain things that you do or you lead a woman through when she's posing, so that okay, this is typically a good posture, a good pose, that's kind of unilaterally works for every woman?
I mean, we all have it. I don't think there's a universal pose for every woman. I think every body style is different, and again, it's all just whatever is that feeling in the moment. I mean, yes, like I have a ton of poses, and yes, I do all the poses, and I'll try everything. I tell a lot of my clients, I'm going to try some really weird things. I'm going to try things, and the again, the great part about it is if it doesn't look good, you're not going to get the photo. The only person that's seeing it is me, but I like to try everything because you never know what's going to look great in the photo. It might not look, it might not read well, but then I get it on my computer and I'm like, wow, that's a stunning
Love it.
photo. um, I mean, we all have our angles and our sides of our face. I'll let the client direct me in that aspect, but I feel that there's the lifestyle poses, there's the corporate poses, and a lot of it, like I love all of them. I love the feminine. I love to be very feminine with my women clients, like, not the masculine, straightforward. But then there's also like if I'm feeling the vibe of that boss woman vibe going
Her
on, then I'll
energy,
more of that.
reading her energy.
Right,
So we
right.
had someone ask, how do you find your inspiration?
Well, I am a Pinterest girl, so I will go through and get inspiration from Pinterest, but I'm not going to copy that photo. I'm going to take the pose, but I'm going to make it work with the client. So the client might not the person on Pinterest might be really tall and my client is petite, and that pose might not look right on a petite girl as opposed to a woman that has really long legs.
Right.
So I'll
It's
pose
not cookie cutter.
and then yes, and then make it perfect for the client.
Okay, good. Because I agree with you that I think women see things and they think, okay, I would like to try to emulate that. And I think there's a level of creativity where you go for it, but also as the professional, you have to guide them like, I don't think that's really what you want to go for here in terms of maybe their stature. Or for me too, I keep in mind like, what is your message? What is the story we're telling? So if we do that, it's not congruent with your story, with your branding.
Right.
So there is a high level of trust. I know I feel a huge onus of trust and integrity to help a woman feel comfortable with me guiding her and styling her. Do you sort of have questions that you walk through with your clients before the shoot? What's your pregame kind of to create that comfort, that relationship, that communication?
Yeah, there's a definite whole preparation that takes place prior to our shoot date. I love to meet people in person, and if it can't happen, then we speak over the phone. I feel that um, them getting to know me before the shoot helps them to calm down a little bit as well. I could not imagine going into a stranger photographer and having to try to stand in front of them and be normal. That's just not going to happen. Most people. So I really want to make them feel comfortable and relaxed. So I try to meet them beforehand. Um, and then we discuss a lot of different things. We will go through their story. What is your story? What are you trying to tell with your brand? And then obviously we go over hair and makeup. And I always tell clients, like, you don't want to overdo it. You want to stay true to yourself, but you want to go a little bit heavier on the makeup because you get washed out, if
Right.
especially studio lighting. Um, I always, I guide to an extent on style, which is why I was really excited to talk, because I know some stuff just from the years of doing it, but I'm definitely not up on style like you are. So, I definitely tell my clients to, I can't say it enough. It's like in everything, you have to be comfortable. So I try to tell them, whatever you're going to wear for your shoot, you want to feel comfortable in it. Um, a lot of times, people in the past, I've had clients that have brought these maybe tank top style blouses because they're trying to, maybe they liked the color or maybe they liked the design, um, or they just felt really, really good wearing this tank top.
That color, or there was something pretty about it, and
Right.
so
Right. And then they get their photos and they're like, I hate my arms. They look just perfect. So I very quickly about, certain, the way certain patterns wear, the way certain colors wear. And I always try to tell women, if you, none of us, there are not too many of us that like our arms.
and I'm used to fielding those questions. And Carolyn asked, what if your stylist wants you to step out of the box with something different? And that's definitely a very important part of what a stylist
Yes.
does. Incongruency, when you're having pictures taken, you need that professional. Just like you think of your hair and makeup, you go to a professional. Again, it's all encompassing because you're creating an image and you're telling a story, and you want it to be to your advantage. So that's where, again, the trust level comes. That I do the same thing. I talk to people like, what is your end goal with these pictures? How are you going to be using them? Because it has to be consistent all the way across the board. But I also want it to be something that's flattering in color and
Right.
shape. But I usually, Karen, I usually guide people to that having a little structure, adding in a structured piece, elevates it to flatter the client's figure, but also to give a level of professionalism and authority.
Right.
So it doesn't have to be something like, I'm not talking about, you're taking someone like a man and throwing a Brooks Brothers suit on him that's totally out of their persona. But I'm just saying that with women, sometimes what we like could be a little too sexy, or it could be, hey, you're just choosing something that's really reading flat, and you need to come across with energy and assertiveness for what you do. So that is definitely part of the job, is making the client feel comfortable and showing them the bigger picture, so that
Right.
they do have that trust when you say, hey, I would like you to wear this. And like you said, usually I like to show people a few, like, hey, let's take a look at a few test shots. Even when I show people with outfits, I'll say, let me take a picture of you, and I want you to see the photograph,
Right.
because it's amazing when people see it, not just in a close-up where they're looking at one thing like their face or their shirt, but when
Right.
they see it in completion in a frame where it's their whole person or waist up, they go, okay, I see the composition of this.
Yeah.
I would have, I hear a lot, I would have never put that together, or I would have never chosen that.
Right.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry if there's a ton of noise going on behind me. I have to laugh.
Oh,
What
that's
timing for someone to show up to do my lawn? I'm like, it sounds like an earthquake going on out there. I apologize if it's getting hard to hear me.
nope.
Um,
Hear you. You're good.
okay, but yeah, so it is truly that passion of the end, and that's what people don't realize about photographs, is that it takes many different components. I
Yep.
mean, I'm sure, like lighting,
Yes.
just people don't realize all that you do to create that lighting for them. Do
Right.
you have you had a really fun venue or a favorite venue that you've taken clients to? Like, what's your favorites?
So many. Well, I would say that I could refer this to this one particular shoot. There is a hotel in Scottsdale here that is just really vibrant. Their lobby area is always very vibrant colors, and um, a lot of people shoot there. Um, but I have one of my clients is a business consultant,
A
and
business what? I'm sorry.
a business consultant.
Okay.
She's phenomenal. And she has just got the biggest personality, and she is just full of life, full of energy. And that is how she directs her clients too. She's just really positive and just all
Powerful.
colors, right? So we were in this area, and she had this Kelly green dress on that just was, it was powerful. It was gorgeous. She looked fabulous in it. And the hotel lobby had yellow
Oh,
fabric booths, like with this seat, and then like this beautiful green, like tropical plant, and then just this brown hardwood. It was gorgeous. The whole composition of the photo.
yes. See, that's just it. The whole composition, the frame, everything coming together.
Yeah,
Love it.
yeah.
Love it.
And I think that was a power photo. I know she uses it. I don't know
Awesome.
if it's enough, and I need to post it more because it's one of my favorites. But you could just see the whole composition together, the way she was styled, um, the look on her face, the comfortability of the whole shots. Like it
I bet
told
she
her
loved it when she
presence.
saw it.
Oh, she did.
And that's the best feeling. I mean, I see some of my clients, their work that they do, and even out of the 5 outfits, just I see, they've got their marketing piece for their website, they've got their marketing piece for mailers, they do, and that's fun for me. I see something pop up in my mailbox. I'm like, I remember that day. I love stairs. Stairs can be sometimes a really clean backdrop or can be really
Yeah,
dramatic. But like I said, I love photo shoots just because it's an opportunity to be more creative.
right,
And I think for people, I always say to them, listen, you're going to invest your time and money, and this is directly impacting your business. So it is so key to have the right people, the right professionals to work with, to bring it together
right,
successfully for you.
right. And so with if there's any of my clients that are watching right now, I have a question for you when it comes to um, I guide my clients a lot to pick colors that flatter them, that flatter their skin tone, right? They don't want to
Yes.
washed out in studio
Yes. A lot of
leather.
people like to throw on a white blouse, and I'm like, oh, nothing will wash you out quicker than light gray or white.
Right, right. So my question to you is it all about the skin tone? Is there a certain color that always looks good on people? And do you recommend print?
Okay, so the first thing is whenever I work with someone, no matter the end goal, I do like to color cast them in terms of what their natural coloring is so they understand those, that aspect of, okay, here's where we're going with this. This is a good wheelhouse of your colors that flatter you in terms of your eye color, your skin tone, your hair color. And then we go from there, depending on what you do. So, for instance, if you are in a creative field, let's go and get something that has texture to it. Let's get color. Let's get a print. If you're in a situation where you have to project being assertive, you're handling people's money, you're handling their future, because again, there's that underlying message.
Right,
So I add in something structured, but it doesn't mean that you're relegated to like, okay, I have to put on a navy suit jacket.
right,
It doesn't have to fall flat. You can have personality, you can do a statement accessory, but it should flatter you. Now, granted, if you are shooting in white, I would say let's break it up with like a great statement necklace, a jacket over it, because of course we can warm up a photograph.
right,
But if you're doing like in studio with just a backdrop, unless it just tends to wash you out.
right,
So a lot of times I just see white going wrong, but that doesn't mean that you cannot accomplish a great shoot. And I love black and white too for a lot of different reasons too, especially when it's something where you want a little more drama and edge to that person's
right.
persona, or even I've done some incredible shoots in black and white for just the building that drama and edge from professional even to maternity shoots. So it is a fun venue, and so you can play around in terms of that, because a lot of people nowadays will just go, well, I'm going to shoot in this outfit, but I want to see it in color and I want to see it in black and white. Do you find that where people are like, I want to see my options?
I have not. I will throw in a black and white if I think that it calls for it. And I actually need to start throwing that in as a question to my clients because I miss black and white. I did a lot many, many years ago. I was almost turning every single one of my photos black and white because I just love the
That's
drama
what I said.
of
It gives it, if it's done right, you can really give it some grit, some edge, or it can be something, like I said, depending on the message you
right.
want. So it just depends on what you do and what you're, if it's, are you going an artistic realm or are you going a really edgy realm? But I like to really involve texture, whether it's, we're getting wood, like there's a wood and stone background, and then we're mixing fabrics with their clothing.
Right.
But again, I always take into consideration the whole composition of getting back to color, the client and the message. I always tell people too, like, if you need to be assertive, think about wearing red. If you need to be in a trust zone with people, think about greens are a high level of trust.
Right.
More compassion, you can do some yellows. So there's, I will bring in the psychology of color as well to that, in
Yeah.
terms of what's good for them, but also what the message we're conveying, because most people don't even realize there's a psychology too behind that color
Right.
message.
Right. Well, and I've always, I've gotten a little held up when it comes to um, brand colors. So have you ever had a client whose maybe brand colors do not match their skin tone? And so they're trying to wear their brand colors, but it's like, that doesn't look good in clothing
Right.
on you. But yet, and I kind of look at like a person's website, like if I am going to be shooting images for a client's website, that I want them to flow with their site,
Right.
with their brand colors. And so how do you combat that?
That is a good question. So I think sometimes people think in terms of, yes, there is a lot of color recognition, and marketing color recognition is everywhere in terms of everything that you're seeing on TV with brands, whether it's pharmaceuticals or it's a cleaning product. So it does make sense in terms of, but just because your website has a certain color doesn't mean you have to have that in the forefront. So in other words, if it's, let's say it's like a yellow green, and that can be really hard, or a certain intense orange, you can be very subtle. It could be a necklace that has a touch of that color in it. It could be a subtlety to the background that you're photographing them in. It could be, they're sitting on a chair that is that brand color,
Yeah.
and you're keeping more neutrality with their wardrobe so that it all flows between the item that's giving the branding color
Right.
and what they're wearing, so that it doesn't have to be in your face color branding, but that the message is congruent because they have a product or they have a brand that they want to keep this high level recognition for those colors. You can play into it, but it doesn't have to be something they're wearing necessarily.
Yeah, great point. I love that. I love that.
Yeah, because you don't, because you want to send a message, but it's like you don't want to show up where you're like, ooh, that's rough. You know what I mean? Because it's amazing. You're like, okay, what happened to you that day? You look a little sickly or
Yeah.
whatever. But that's a very good question, because that's the whole point of going to a professional. How do we navigate this? How do we stay consistent? I know I've had clients ask me like, hey, someone's giving me this direction where I really need to do all my postings in yellow. So she was asking me, what yellows can I wear and how can I do this? And does it have to be every single posting? So it's the thread is long once you start to pull between stylist, photographer, marketing, because they're all connected.
Right. Well, and I just feel as though having a stylist on a photo shoot, especially like a brand client, I feel it's so important because, especially because like I can only go so far. we're all supposed to pick our niches, right? Like, yes, I can guide you as to, what things you may like to wear in a photo shoot, going with the comfortability of it all, and something that flatters your body style and your skin tone. But after that, it's like, if well, what about this? Yeah, it's super cute. Like, I don't want to be like, no, it's, you know, um,
That's okay. I'm used to being the bad guy because you're right. Sometimes it can be a fabulous color, but the fabric is awful on camera. It
right.
wrinkles in a heartbeat, it bags out too much, and that's where I agree with you that there's a lot going on when you're taking these pictures. And a lot of times the photographer might be adjusting the lights and may miss like the hair is in the face. Those little details that can really just be a nudge in terms of getting those perfect pictures. Or I'm always clipping the shirts, adjusting the straps. There's always little details that a stylist does, double-sided tape, all these little tricks that we have to create where you're seated or you're standing, that it's relaxed. It's the hand posture, it's the way you're standing, it's the way your blouse is laying in that shot, it's how the jacket is. There's so many little nuances that
Yes.
it really is beneficial to have a team, because you're, like I said, you're investing this time, you're investing in your future, you're driving your business with these pictures. People want to know who they're dealing with, and they're making that decision. If the first thing they're seeing is your mailing piece that's coming to them or your advertisement or whatever, they're judging you by that picture. It's like meeting someone in person. You've got 7 seconds to make the right impression,
Right.
because
Right.
people are making these assumptions.
Yeah. And I mean, and everything that you just said, it boils down to like you're making an investment. If we're talking strictly about, brand clients, there is monetary value in your images. You're investing in
Yes.
you're investing in your business. You're not going to willy-nilly your images. These images can take you through a year. You have a year of assets. You can use your especially like a headshot for years and years. And I've seen women use them a little too long, which is another reason why
Tammy, I need to redo my pics too, Tammy. So just saying,
I would love to come visit Atlanta, right? You're in
I
Atlanta.
I do foresee that we have a chance to benefit each other and to work in tandem, because it's such a positive relationship when you can speak the same language and be open to that. Because I've been on shoots where, my gosh, there's so many people, so you really have to take a deep breath, be a team player. Sometimes the client is, you have the model, you have the client, you have several people from the company, you've got the photographer. And so you agree with me. It's like, you can have a lot of things that can either make it run smoothly
Right.
and successfully, or you've got to deal with some turbulence on
Right.
the all the active players going on there.
Yes, absolutely. And at the end of the day, it's all about making that client feel confident and beautiful and feel confident about themselves and their business that they represent. It's just, I don't know. Now
I
I'm
do feel everyone can look great, but
yeah,
unfortunately I don't always see that. In terms of, sometimes what I see in marketing pieces, I'm like, you look great, but it's completely inappropriate for what your business is. I'm like, so if people don't even read your tagline or your mission statement or whatever, they may just scroll right past, because what you're wearing looks just reflective of something completely opposite
right,
of what your business is. I've seen this time and time again, and I kind of cringe at that. So just because you feel comfortable and you're photogenic, which is fantastic, it doesn't mean that you can just run out and expect to have impactful, successful pictures if you're not letting your professionals guide you.
right, right. Yes. It takes a whole
It's years of experience. It really is. And it's been my pleasure. And so obviously I know it's your passion as well, because that's how we got started. And I've seen your pictures and I've commented, and some I love, they're so organic where you're outside and I can see the movement in the picture, and just things that you incorporate that really make it fun. The person looks like they're having fun. And that's what captures you. You know, when you're scrolling and you see someone's post or you see their picture and you start to see the story that this person is, you know, she's a chef, she's an entrepreneur, and this is her background, and you just can, I can sense a lot of personality. Now you probably know the picture I'm talking about, because I could, that, you know, I could just see that she felt very comfortable with you.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. And that is exactly what I hope for in every single one of my shoots. And because when you're having fun, you are being organic and real and authentic, and that is what they need to portray through their photos. And that is what I am all about. I am not going to create a fake photo.
Well, I so appreciate you taking your time to jump on with me, and to tell people how they can find you.
Okay, so I am Tammy Zelez Photography on Instagram, on Facebook, and my website, tammyzelezphotography.com. I am based in Phoenix, Arizona, but I do travel for photography sessions. So you can go to my website to contact me, or you can DM me on Instagram.
Yes. So, and also, if there's any questions that pop up about doing a shoot, more questions, or a shoot with Tammy, obviously you can pop in a question below for me or for Tammy. But I love that you shared your passion, you shared your tips, and just how you work with your clients. And again, for women entrepreneurs, it's so important to have someone who can authentically just embrace their story and bring that to life. So I enjoyed my time talking with Tammy, and I will definitely talk to you soon, because we have more things to talk about, so we can work together. But thanks everybody who popped on. Thanks Tia for the intro. She just appreciate you so much, Tammy. And like I said, I will talk to you soon. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.